Afternoon, everyone. Okay, so the research topic that we did, going to present today is about the progress and challenges of higher education in Myanmar. So here is the outline for today's presentation. Introduction about the Myanmar educational background a little bit, and then research method and limitation that we faced, and another one is research finding that we found out and recommendation. So for the introduction, so Myanmar got its independence in 1988 from the UK, and its education was one of the best in Asia until 1962. However, so after the 1962, there was a military coup, and under the military government, since the time, the education quality was changed from the best to the worst situation. So that's why under different kinds of governments, the education reform we are trying again and again. So the nuclear education reform plan was started in 2011. However, it still have the problem with it. So there's a lot of problem in terms of the education, but here I brought 4 main problems. So the first one is lack of decentralization, which means the administration of the educational institution in Myanmar, which had been greatly centralized by the government. So the university in Myanmar, so they have no chance to set up their own rules and regulation, or they have no university autonomy. So as the consequences, so it's come out with the second problem. So outdated curriculums and not applicable, which mean the university in Myanmar, or the university, most of the university, they practice the same curriculum. So if you study IR in the university, and if you study IR in another university in Myanmar, but the curriculum will be the same, so something like that. But so since they use the same curriculum, the same textbook, and the same language, it was we would say not applicable, because as we all know, Myanmar was one of the diverse countries in terms of the ethnic. So most of the minority ethnic regions, so they might not be able to apply the language as well. So since they use only the main official language. So another problem was the no equal access to higher education throughout the country. So which means is nearly 50% of the university institution, higher education institution, are located in only the main 2 cities. So that is why the students who from the another states. So in Myanmar we have 7 regions and 7 states. So since only most of the university located in only 2 main region, so the other 5 region and the other 7 states, they have very less opportunity in terms of the higher education to pursue the higher education. So the last problem was the capacity and the capacity and the qualification of the university teacher. So most of the university teachers in Myanmar, they need to improve in order to provide the better education to the students. So in order to address those problems, so Myanmar they need to update it in education, and also reform to complete the reform process. And so in order to bring the better education, we still need to analyze how the reform process was going, and what they still have the challenges. So that is why I would like to note about that, and really interested about this education reform project in Myanmar. So I conducted the research project. So okay, this is the objective of the research project. So to define the progress of the higher education reform in Myanmar, and to examine the challenges of its higher education reform. So the research method that I did was qualitative research method and semi-structured interview. So at that moment, we also only conduct online interview, and the information in the research were used for both primary and secondary data. So in terms of the participants, here I conduct 3 university professors and 3 university students. So in terms of the in order to when I selected the participants, so the student who are from at least second year student, and for the university teacher or professor, they have to be at least 2 years of teaching experience in order to provide the reliable or more enough information. So in terms of the limitation, I had a problem with the at that moment, as soon as I start planning the interview process, it happened like military coup in Myanmar. So since they cut down, since they shut up the internet asset or the telephone phone call as well, so it was really hard to contact the participants in Myanmar, and also the students and teachers in Myanmar at the moment. They involved in civil disobedience movement in order to show like they also against the military coup. So it was really hard to contact the how can I say, the interview process. So that's why the participant in Myanmar had to answer the interview question through email. And for the interviewing, I could only do the participant who arrived outside of Myanmar from the professor. So in terms of the research finding, I could find out some of the progress and some of the progress of the higher education and the current reforming process. So the first one was the government support on research sector, because and during 2018 and 19, it could notably increase the research, both writing research paper and publication paper. It has increased in art and science university, technological university, and university of computer study and education college. So it was one of the greatest changes in Myanmar in terms of the higher education. Another one is the budget spending. So another reform project. So since before, in the beginning of let's say reforming, education reform, they could spend only 3.6% of its total union budget for education, but it increased up to 8.3% in 2018 and 8.4% in 2019, 2020, something like that. So education spending on education will increase year by year. So there was really great for the Myanmar higher education. And also another one was the Ministry of Education also became the fourth largest budget holder ministry in Myanmar. So after the electrical energy institution ministry, another one is defense, something like that. So it was kind of the positive changes in terms of the education sector in Myanmar. Another one was university autonomy. So before the reform plan, the university in Myanmar, they had no university autonomy. So when I conducted the interview, the participant also mentioned that two university teachers from Mandalay and Rangoon, they also state that university autonomy was notably supported by this under the reforming plan. So in 2020, there was 16 universities were granted the university autonomy. So under the reforming process, there was one of the greatest changes under the reforming plan. Another one is improving foreign engagement during this reforming plan. So we could also see international support and research collaboration have greatly developed the under reforming plan. And when we conduct the interview, the professor, the participant from Rangoon also state that their university had better relation with the foreign university, and also they also had a exchange activity because of this current educational reform action plan support for those kind of positive changes. And here the countries are European Union, United Kingdom, United States, Australia, Japan, and other they greatly support in terms of the finance and also curriculum reform as well. So for this higher education reforming plan. So those are positive changes. And however, when the university students' perspective was a kind of different from university teacher, because they see that the teaching style of the university teacher is stay the same, and they cannot choose any subject that they are interested. So let's say in the international university, if I am interested in IR, I can apply it. Maybe I had to do entrance exam, then I can apply it. But for Myanmar, even I am interested, I might not be able to apply because of they have limited the score, and is all are depend on the we call like grade 12 exam, matriculation exam. So if we have low score from the matriculation exam, we have less chance to choose the subject that we are interested in, something like that. So since the system is still practicing, the university students see that like the reform plan is not really affect to the higher education yet. Another one was they also point out the different requirements score. So it was the practicing in Myanmar that if because of like they have different score for female and male students for some major, especially like medical university. So if you are female, you might require 510 score from the matriculation exam from grade 12 exam. But if you have male, you will need only like 490 score, something like that. So since those kind of gender discrimination is still happening, they see like they still feel the same way, practicing the same way for the like higher education level. However, they point out that they see some of the positive changes in primary or middle school level under the current reforming plan. The reform plan is called National Education Strategy Plan. So it was started in like 2015. So that's why like they hope they will see some positive changes in near future. But right now the students that are in contact, they see like they don't really see yet the notable changes in terms of the university level. So the challenges for this Myanmar higher education reform in Myanmar education reform, the main challenge they are facing is to adapt the research culture by the university teachers, because like we all are familiar with the like rote learning system or like memorizing system. So that is why like when we have to start practicing like research or critical thinking, so it's really hard to adapt this culture within a short period. So it was basically the main problem for the university teachers. And another one is of course the curriculum things. So the curriculum are stay outdated because only 60 university had university autonomy until 2021. So the rest of the university, they stay has the same curriculum and in the past, and also like all are controlled by the all are centralized by the government. So if they had a problem, another one is memorizing system. So if they are keep practicing, it's really hard to move on from there to like research or like critical learning and teaching system. Another one was, as I mentioned before, like it was great change in terms of government's money budget on education, but it still have the problem that it doesn't reach yet the requirements. Let's say like according to the reform plan, they aim to use 2.1 billion per year, but the money that they could spend is under like 2 billion per year. So it's the how can I say, is they have challenges for Myanmar government. Another one was current political instability of the country. So the reform plan that I basically analyzed was it started in 2015, and so in 2021 is already done for the first period, and they already have planned for the second period. They have something to do based on this result from the first period, but since due to the political instability, everything is stopped right now, and we don't know what will happen yet. So it was basically the main problem in terms of the higher education reform plan. So for the recommendations that I brought here, is the main recommendation was to remove the matriculation exam system. It was I was like the main barrier for the Myanmar higher education, because based on that exam system, the student has to choose the subject that they have to study. So it's not depend on what they are interested in. It's depend on the score from matriculation exam system. So really recommend to not to practice this matriculation exam system, and because its exam system basically rely on memorizing skill, not critical thinking skill. So that is one is I recommend to remove that one. Another one is to support teachers from the rest of education sector as well, not only the higher education, because the student from the lower level become to higher education students. Another one is university autonomy should be provided in different regions. Now they have only 16 university, and all 60 university are from only Rangoon and Mandalay, and not from other regions. So actually, like the university from other different kinds of region also needs to have their own university autonomy. That the fourth recommendation was to remove the system or like requirement score for like male and female student based on the gender. They set up the different score, so that was there is no point to discriminate between the student based on their gender. So it's really nonsense system, and it's better to remove that system. The last one is to keep the great support from international INGO organization and foreign engagement, and to increase its budget for the higher education sector, because for the education reform process we can go by our own self. We also need to support from other countries as well. Okay, this recommendation that I brought for those who has responsibility for the higher education. Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Okay. All right.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Ms. Pann, Dr. Pann. Okay, a very interesting actually research you've done here. I'll just I'll open up to the floor first if anyone has questions or any suggestions, recommendations, or would like to share any views.
Okay. Ms. Pann, okay, can I ask you about the university autonomy, you know, in Myanmar? How far is that terms, you know, like what kind of activities that, you know, the university are allowed to do? Maybe just briefly tell us.
Okay, so before the military coup, the university they are allowed to set up their own curriculum for those who are already granted university autonomy. So they can have their own curriculum, and also they also have their own research activity from, and also like another one is like they can do when even like they would like to promote the position of the university teacher, they also set up like you have to finish this research project. So university teacher also more eager to do like their research project, something like that. So those kind of university autonomy is owned by only like 16 university yet, but now it's happened military coup again. So it might change again in the future.
They are holding back, right?
They're holding.
Okay.
So that's why it's the, excuse me, that's why it's the quite one of the big problems is that we may say about the politics
Instability.
Yeah, political instability was one of the main challenges thing right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Because like, let's say in the past, before this military coup, the university teachers are not only in Myanmar, since they already have some kind of freedom, so they can do exchange. So the university teacher from US or UK, they come to Rangoon University and they deliver the course, something like that. So the student have a chance to study with the foreign teacher as well, not only like Myanmar teacher. So it was really great opportunity for students. So since right now we have this kind of problem, majority of the university teacher involved in CDM movement. So right now everything is a kind of stopping.
All right. Thank you. I'm done with my question.
Okay. Dr. Shamini. So this is actually this is the last paper for this period, right? Like, and then you come back again later in the afternoon, right?
Afternoon.
Right.
Right.
Thank you very much for your chair, for being chair.
Thank you very much. So I will come back at 2:20. Is it Thai time? Am I right?
Right.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Sumali.
Thank you.
Again in an hour's time.
All right. Thank you. So, okay. So the next